Hey guys, my name is Sarah. It's my baby daddy.
What's up?
Today we're gonna talk about our 16 and pregnant story while we eat Jack. So, a lot of food. Show them your food.
Well, shit. We didn't taste so
We
that
got
long.
curly fries, tacos with extra cheese. I got some wedges, a chicken sandwich. I'm gonna shake. Dang, you're not like showing anything. It's just me.
Well,
And another chicken.
Sandwich.
It was like a buttered chicken sandwich. Yeah, because it was on the deal.
Oh,
The like, some deal they have in Jack in the Box right now.
I already ate half of my sandwich.
Yeah, it low-key took a long time for us to get even started because I kept laughing. And then I would want to restart because like I said, this is our first time ever doing a video. Okay, so I met Gabriel when I was 14. I remember him being my chambelan when I was 15.
I didn't know how to dance.
Yeah, it was so funny. It was really funny. I think I have clips of where he's like, we're together and we're dancing. Yeah, like literally the day of my 15 is when we first like danced together, like very first time ever. Well, so I found out I was pregnant when I was, I don't know if I was 15, going on 16. I think it was already like, I think I had just turned 16. And my parents, they used to go to Mexico all the time. Like every year for Christmas, we would go to Mexico. And I always had like a sensible stomach for some reason. And I remember going to Mexico this one time and I just felt so sick. All I wanted to do was sleep. I remember they offered me tacos and like, hey, you want to eat? And I couldn't eat. I slept throughout the whole trip. And I remember going back to work. We came back to Texas. I went back to work, and I had this one friend. She was like my best friend, and she was like, "Oh, like, ha 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 ha, like, what if you're pregnant?" And I was like, yeah, no, because I feel like me and Gabriel used to always have pregnancy scares, only because we were underage and we weren't supposed to be doing what we were doing, you know. So I feel like with every couple at a young age doing that, you always get pregnancy scares.
A lot of people can relate.
So I kind of just bullshitted it. I let it go. I didn't say anything. She comes back again, my best friend. I used to work at Taco Casa.
So I used to work at McDonald's too.
She was like, no, like, I really think you're pregnant. I really think you're pregnant. So me and my best friend, we used to work the same shift, same hours. So she was like, let's go buy a pregnancy test and then we'll go back home. So I did that. We lived in the same community too.
Yeah, we was. Come
yeah,
on,
like,
bro.
even Gabriel lived in the same community.
I live in the community where, so what you mean? Boy, I'm finna go see my girl every day.
And so, I didn't smoke though.
Yeah, I didn't say that. I just said I'm finna go see you.
Well, anyways. So she ends up coming to my house, right? I remember taking the pregnancy test and it coming out positive and being like, what the fuck, you know? So, okay, so we had to cut the video. So sorry if it looks weird whenever we merge it. Because I'm at work. I'm literally doing this video while I'm at work. So back to where I was at. I think I was at the part where my coworker came to my house and I took the pregnancy test and I came out pregnant. Dude, I did not believe it for the longest. I was like, what the fuck? Like, there's no way, you know, there's no way. Which obviously there was a way. And so I ended up finding out I was pregnant. I remember like sitting on my bed and I texted my baby daddy and I was like, hey, like I'm pregnant, you know? And he was like, oh, you're joking. And I was like, no, like I'm dead ass pregnant, you know? I wish I had the messages so I could see y'all because he did not believe me like whatsoever.
Because,
So,
you know what I'm saying? I was in that thing every day, boy.
so anyways, the next day happened. I had to go to work, and I remember like we seen each other at school, and like we kind of like didn't even talk about it, you know. We just kind of like brushed it off, and we didn't say anything. So then I get to work, and that's when my baby daddy started texting me, and he was like, what was the idea you came up with? Because apparently you have to, do you remember the idea you came up with?
What, like not tell them?
Yeah, he said like we weren't gonna tell them because, okay, look, his mom's birthday and my mom's birthday are literally both in February.
And that birthday was coming.
Yeah, and it was in December, like December when we ended up finding out. So then he's like, oh, like, why don't we just tell them that, you know, surprise, happy birthday, we're pregnant. And I'm like, dude, we're 16. Like, they're going to want to hear, you know, surprise, we're pregnant. So, anyways, that's what his idea came to be.
I don't remember
so,
that.
I think I can remember. Oh my god. Whatever. Well, I remember clearly, you know, because I was the one who got in trouble. So, anyways, I get to work, right? He didn't text me like all day. Like, for some reason, when I was at work, he didn't text me. So I thought that was kind of weird, you know. And I remember I used to work the drive-thru, and I had my phone in my pocket, and I just remember my phone buzzing like bzz, bzz, like crazy the whole time at work. And like, you know, when you just know and your heart kind of drops and you're like, fuck, you know. Well, that was me. I was like, my heart was racing, my phone was buzzing on the side of my pants, and I just knew that some way it was told that I was pregnant. So then I'm like freaking out, and I'm like, I don't even want to look at my phone, because I'm like, no, I'm not looking at it. I don't want to look at it. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna look at it. So I look at my phone, and I have like 30 messages from my mom, and then like 10 from Gabriel, and then I think like a message from his mom, and I'm like, what the fuck? So I remember running into the restroom, and I'm like looking at my phone, and Gabriel's calling me, and he's crying, bro, crying on the phone. Like, I had to tell them, and I'm like, bro, I'm like, you couldn't wait for me, like, why would you do that, you know? And he's crying on the phone. He's like, I'm so sorry, and I'm like, dude. So then I'm looking at the phone, and you know, he's just talking and talking. I'm like trying to concentrate, like, what the fuck? Like, my mom knows. What am I gonna do? I'm only 16. So then I remember, you know, reading the messages, and my mom's like, I'm gonna beat your ass, like, blah blah blah. She's like, you know, your typical Hispanic mom, you know, getting mad and stuff. So then I get out the restroom, and I'm like freaking out. Like, I can't even cry because I was so shook that I didn't even get to tell my mom that Gabriel had told his mom. And then obviously his mom told my mom. And Gabriel's like still blowing my phone up, like, it's gonna be okay. And I'm just like, dude, my mom knows. Like, my mom knows I'm pregnant. So I'm like, what the fuck, you know? So then I remember getting out the restroom and talking to my boss, like, dude, like, my mom's on her way here, and I'm gonna be in so much trouble. And like, I had this badass boss at Taco Casa, and she was like, oh, girl, if your mom kicks you out, like, you can live with me. And I'm like looking at her like, I'm not gonna live with you, you know, like, I don't even know you. And but at the time, you know, I didn't say anything because I was so scared. So I remember just telling my friend, like, oh, like, just say that I left. Just say that I left work. Like, you know, I don't know where the fuck I was gonna go, but just say that I left. I ended up hiding in the restroom, right?
Worst idea ever.
Dude, yeah. And I worked at this, like, I kind of live in this white neighborhood. I mean, that's probably rude to say, but it was a really friendly neighborhood, you know? I'm hiding in the restroom. I hear my mom, dude, like, and it's a long hallway from, like, the restroom and the dining and where the door is. Bro, I'm in the restroom, and I can hear my mom screaming, like, where the is she? You know, where is she? And I'm, like, in the restroom walking back and forth, like, contemplating, like, should I call the cops? Like, what should I do, you know? I'm like, how the fuck am I going to call the cops on my mom? But I'm, like, so scared of my mom. So my mom's cussing, and I can hear her in the restroom, like, screaming. And thank God this was, like, an individual restroom. It wasn't, like, the restroom where several people can come in. So I'm in the restroom, and I'm thinking. And this whole time I'm trying to think, I can hear my mom just cussing the whole way. Finally, I just hear the door go boom, boom, boom. And she's punching the door, bro. And she's kicking the door. And I'm like, someone has to call the fucking cops. There's no way no one's going to call the cops. And I'm like having to dial 911, and I'm walking back and forth. Like, if I call the cops on my mom, I'm being so much more shit, you know? But my mom is cussing, she's punching, she's kicking the door, telling me to open it. And I'm like, no. So finally, I was like, you know what? I did the cross. I was like, I gotta thug it out, and I gotta walk out. So I walked out, and my mom is crying. I felt really bad. And I'm like, oh my God, dude. And my mom's crying, she's cussing, and like, she's like, let's get out the, like, she's just cussing, bro. I just remember her saying, like, let's go, let's get out of here. And I'm like walking, and I see everyone looking at me, like looking at me at my job, and I'm like head down, not even looking at no one, but you can feel when people are looking at you, right? And I look up, and I see this Gabriel's mom there, and I'm like, oh my God, dude. I'm like, fuck. And I'm like, ask me where the fuck Gabriel was, and he was at home. And I'm like, this nigga snitched me out, and he's not even here to like have my back or anything. So I'm like, damn, dude. So then I'm in the back seat, right? I get in the car. My mom's just crying. She's cussing at me. She's like, I told you. And me and my mom, we came like from a kind of like, I don't know how to explain it. We weren't all that wealthy, you know. We came in from a pretty like bad neighborhood. So for my mom to get us where we were, it was a really struggle. And, you know, I understood that I did wrong. And she's like telling me like, why, you know, do you know how hard it was for me to get us here? And, you know, you're just doing the same steps that I did when I was young. And so like, it literally like broke my heart. Okay, and that ended up happening, right? And I'm like, you know,
Crying.
I mean, literally, she's crying. Y'all look, Gilbert, don't finish my shake.
That was good.
But it tastes more like vanilla, dude.
And I don't like chocolate shakes, so yeah, it didn't taste like that much chocolate.
Okay. So anyways, my mom's like, you know, telling me like all this stuff, blah, 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 obviously. I get home, and my dad's already like standing like at the door. And I'm like, oh my God. And so, my dad's standing at the door. He sees me, he sees his mom, and my mom. I think my dad had told his mom, like, where's your son at? You know, because why isn't he here? And so that's when he he called his dad. They went to go pick him up and bring him back. Like, tell his dad to drop him off. Because my dad didn't want to talk without Gabriel being there, because he's like, no, it's obviously his fault too. He should be here. Like, where's he at? And so, I'm mad love for my dad, because I thought my dad was going to be really mad. But he ended up like, I mean, he was mad, but he was there for me. We ended up talking, and my mom's like, talking about like adoption, and obviously all this other stuff, you know. It's typical. Like, I know people are probably going to be like, your mom wanted you to abort, but it's like, come on, like, you're 16. And I think she just said that out of anger, not really like what she meant, but she did offer that on the plate. And I remember when she offered that, my dad stepped out, and like I knew something was wrong, because he just stepped out. Like, his like face turned really red. He stepped out, and I didn't know what to do or what to say. I didn't say anything. I was just like, you know, I don't really want to abort my child. Obviously, I know my mom doesn't want me to either. I think she was just saying that. She was just saying that at the moment. Well, all I remember was my mom was like, well, just think it through. Like, we'll talk about this in the morning, because it was already like late at night. Remember, I had worked a night shift that night. Gabriel didn't even say anything, dude. Like, he was just like, you see how he is right now, like in this video. That's how he was when it came
I was
down.
Scared. No, what is he talking about?
No, he wasn't. He was just sitting there, not saying crap.
I was 16 years old. What are you talking about? I had got you pregnant. I ain't never been in no situation like that. Sitting at a table with your parents and my mom just looking at me like, and crying, bro. Like, you know what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? I ain't used to all this shit.
Well, you were crying too.
I was crying with my mama. I wasn't crying at the table.
Well, anyway, so they ended up leaving, and my dad was talking to me, and all I remember was he was like, please don't abort your baby. Like, please, I'll help you. And my mom comes by, and I remember him telling my mom, like, oh, like, the next time you ever tell my daughter that, like, you're gonna get out the house and we're gonna get a divorce. And my mom started crying. She's like, no, like, I'm really sorry. You know, I don't know why I said that. I was just saying that out of anger, because you're so young and you have such a long future ahead of you. So, what ended up happening, I think I had a doctor, we scheduled me a doctor's appointment, like, for the end of the week, because I think this happened, like, on like, in the beginning of the week, because I remember going to the doctor on a Friday. And, I still didn't believe that I was pregnant. My mom didn't let me go to school the next day. She was like, no, let's just try to stay home, because obviously all the commotion that happened the night before. And I remember going to Walmart, and I was like, man, what if, like, I'm not even pregnant? I just said that, you know, I looked at the test wrong. I'm like, maybe I'm stupid. So then my mom bought me 4 more tests. Sure enough, all of them were pregnant. I was like, all right, I'm not tripping, you know? And so the end of the week goes, I go to the doctor, and they can hear the baby's heart. So then my mom's like, bitch, did you know you were already pregnant? I was like, no, I didn't. We had to take another break, because remember, I'm still at work. Well, anyways, the only reason my mom asked if she knew I was pregnant, only because you can't, like, let's just say you're pregnant, right? Whenever they do the sono, they can't hear the baby's heartbeat until you're like about, I think 6 to 8 weeks. Correct me if I'm wrong though. And they could hear the baby's heartbeat like loud and clear. So I remember them telling me, yeah, you're like 3 months going on 4 months. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know. And I know you're like, oh, did you get periods? Well, I've always had irregular periods, so I never like kept track, you know. So anyways, I remember it was time to hear the heartbeat, and my mom just started crying, and she was like, oh my god, like, I'm gonna have a baby. And I'm like, girl, like, just like 4 days ago you were ready to like beat my ass, you know. I was like contemplating on calling the cops on you type shit. And so then she ends up, you know, crying and saying all this stuff like, I'm so sorry, blah blah blah. Did you go with me to my first appointment?
Mm-hmm.
How'd you feel?
Oh yeah, I think I did. Shit, I was so scared, but I was excited. I wanted a boy. Who ended up having a girl?
Yeah, and I'll tell y'all how it happened when we found out it was a girl and a boy and something. And it's a different video. But yeah, that's how we ended up finding out. Well, my parents ended up finding out that I was pregnant and stuff. But yeah, I've been wanting to do a video like this so people can know, because I feel like a lot of people ask me like, oh my god, like what happened? And I was in high school too, so I feel like even like after high school, when people were still like probably talking shit, like,
well, yeah, we was in high school and we left early.
Yeah, but you know what? Let me tell you this. Because I left early, I did graduate high school. No, I did not graduate with the GED.
You graduated early too.
I graduated with a full S diploma. And I feel like people always think that, she got a GED. No, biatches. I got a diploma.
And we graduated early.
Yeah, I graduated when I was 16.
So did I.
Yeah, bro. But like, just because you have a baby at 16 is not the end of the world. I feel like a lot of people like to downgrade and say stuff like that. But look, I still managed to graduate high school. I'm a dental assistant now, and I feel like we're living pretty good. Obviously, we're not like perfect, but I mean, hey, for me having a baby at 16, I feel like I'm living really good for myself.
And she has another baby already too.
Well, I do have a baby, another baby. He'll be 1 next month in December, and I'll tell you about that in another video.